From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, hello, fine people. It is great to have you here. Wherever you are tuning in from, whether it is Kyoto or some place that starts with a K elsewhere, I don't know what that would be, but doggone it, it's good to have you here. This is the Badass Counseling Show. I am Sven Erlandson. I am joined by my fellow staff here in studio. I have KC right over there in the booth. And I have Rob the Rocket, who runs all important things. Rob, what say ye today?
Kansas, Kentucky, Kalamazoo.
God dang.
Kathmandu.
Oh, I should have gone with Kalamazoo. Kathmandu. But, and the girl from Kalamazoo, zoo.
That's the one.
That was the Andrews sisters?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Wow, you're going back to the 40s.
Hey, man.
Good for you.
You know, it's funny you say that because in my car, I have, a few different, 70s stations and 80s stations, but then I have a couple of comedy stations for when I'm on a drive. And then I have a 40s big band station. Just because,
great.
Yeah, I like 40s big band music. So the Andrews sisters and Bing and all of them, they are staples on that channel.
Good for you.
Yes, well, that's the extent of my culture right there. What Sirius will hand me. So, Rob, we have a returning guest from 2 years ago, Vida, and some of you may remember her. Vida comes to us from overseas. We have many, many, many overseas listeners, and she comes to us from the great city of Europe. And I'm just entertaining myself here today.
Okay.
And anyway, you may recall, if you've gone back and listened to our episodes, that when Vida was growing up, she was reminded every day that everyone else mattered, but not her. And she made this most interesting comment that the only reason I didn't die was because I decided to live for the sake of others. And it was also the reason I haven't truly lived. And that her family has controlled her entire life. And she was 36 at the time, 2 degrees, successful woman, comfortable in her jobs, yet constantly allowing people to trample all over her. She said she came on the show and has made significant progress because of the podcast and journaling and so forth. But very recently, we heard back from Vida, and Vida is a regular follower of the show, a regular follower of our thousands of posts online and so forth. I see her online posting, and it's always a treat to see her checking in. But she wrote back to us and said, old problems have risen back up and new problems have arisen. And so we wanted to bring her back on the show to indicate that sometimes we need checkups. Sometimes deeper issues expose themselves, or sometimes we don't quite get it all. And so we brought Vida back, and Rob, read to us the paragraph that she sent us.
Absolutely, Sven. Vida did write back to us with a subject line that read, "Endless grief." And she said, "My world has started collapsing inside out yet again, and I would like a few master strokes from Sven to truly break my own lies and defenses against my pain, grief, and anger towards those deserving it. I was on the show 2 years ago and shocked Sven, acknowledging that I made a decision to live at the age of 5 and followed it for 30 years. My life changed immensely with the help of the Badass Counseling Show, journaling, and shadow work. I discovered what made me collapse in childhood and had glimpses of what it feels like to actually want to live, being driven by grit and enjoyment. I started a new career and got my first home. Yet, the past still has a hold on me. My relationship strategy is so contaminated with people-pleasing, I score high on the vulnerable narcissist scale. I suppose it's the corrupted end of extreme giving. I do not have anyone I can rely on. I cannot help defending my parents and authority figures, yet I detest them. I've also been terribly harsh and disappointed with myself recently. My health being appalling doesn't help. Sven, your help would be greatly appreciated."
Vida, great to have you back on the show.
Hello, Sven.
Well, I want to ask you a strange question out of left field. You have done a lot of the work on yourself, on your own, a lot of it, and you've persisted in that. You make that very clear. What is the biggest thing in your life, in your past, inside of you, anything, biggest thing you don't want to touch? The biggest thing that you are most scared to look at, if there is anything.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the thing coming to my mind. I don't know if it's right. My power.
Your power.
Like when I wrote in, I felt really in the dumps. And then even as I was writing to the show, I felt already touched. Then when I received an invitation, I cried for about an hour. And one of the insights I had over the time, I've started my own work and I had some successes and I haven't even shared them. I haven't, I worked for other people 10 times, 20 times harder than I worked for myself. And I asked myself, why is it? Why am I not even trying like half as hard for myself? Why am I not sharing
right?
hard
And what's your
successes?
And what's your answer?
And my answer was, whenever I achieved things, whenever I had big successes, I suffered terribly. Like at school, I was at the top school in Lithuania. And if you finish the term with all top scores, you don't have to sit the exams. And I was so happy. And my family was like, yeah, well done. And for a week, my friends were all working hard for the exams. I was on my own with my own shit. I was expecting to be happy, and all I did was facing how lonely I am and how on my own. I ended up having an eating disorder.
So wait a minute. When you had the success, your family congratulated you then? They made you feel good about your success, or they somehow...
they did say, oh, well done, well done. What I wanted is like, oh, let's go eat out or something, a bit of fuss. And they were like, oh, well done, you're good. They enjoyed my academic successes. And I've done very well academically despite the cost to my health. Another huge, so it was just an example. Another thing was when I studied nursing in Britain and I put my whole self into it. I did my whole best. And I do have quite a rebellious trait. So when the course management started putting the students down, I stood up in front of nearly 200 people. I went and argued with them. And in year 2, I had, they nearly kicked me out of uni. And literally the course manager said, you didn't come here to learn, you came here to get the signatures directly to me. And that started it cracked me. And then when I started working as a nurse, I was so bullied. And it felt like whenever I follow my heart, whenever I really work hard and achieve something, I get completely crushed.
Okay. And so I need you to explain then, why are you afraid to discuss your power?
I'm not afraid to discuss. I'm afraid to tap into it, because then I will start to speak out. I'll start to raise my head, and chances are I'll be hit on it.
I see.
And there are things I want to talk, my experience, my insights that are not common stream experiences. What you talk is very unacceptable in Lithuania.
I should not move to Lithuania. Okay. Noted. And so
very much needed as it may be resisted.
Except I'll get bonked on the head, just like you. Okay, so
no.
I'm teasing. Okay, so you're afraid to express your power. You're not afraid to look at it or talk about it. You're afraid to actually act on it, because if you do, you'll get bonked on the head. Someone will undermine your successes. If I heard you correctly, when you had huge success as a kid, your parents said a few nice words, but there was no sort of celebration. There was no action behind it. you didn't feel like you said they enjoyed my academic success, but nothing more than that. And then your friends were still working, so you felt very much alone. Just out of curiosity, did you feel alone most of the time in your own home?
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
mean, I'll tell you something. I didn't even realize I was bullied at school because that's how I was treated at home. So I didn't expect something else. I would get surprised if I didn't get bullied.
You were never safe then.
I wasn't too bad at some schools.
Okay. So you're afraid to express your power. And that's fair. And I've made a note of that, and I want to come back to that. But I still want to answer the original question, and that is, what is the biggest thing in your own self-work, in counseling or in our talking or in your own journaling? What is the scariest thing for you to look at?
Okay, so I'd say I regularly look at the very scary things, but what I find very difficult and what I think I try to lean into your work for is, okay, let me tell you an example. So I knew my family is like, I knew they're not loving me. I knew they screwing me even as I grew up. And when I got over, when I stopped bursting into anger, once I stopped not being able to control my emotions, once I was able to put things into words, I thought, okay, I'll get out of it. I'll set things right. And then I went to a number of psychologists, psychotherapists, and one of them said you couldn't have depression at the age of 7. The other one said oh, let's get your family in and you'll explain why they really upset you. And they got the family in.
Those therapists made big mistakes.
Okay, so I thought maybe I'm touching the topic I shouldn't. So sorry.
No,
okay.
Keep going. You're
so
fine.
Literally, I was talking with the therapist. He saw what would happen to me after I spent time with my family. He has to bring them in so I can present my side of the things. So he had one look at my mom and my gran, exchanged a few words with them, and he straight away said, well, you see, the problem with Vita is, this and this and that. And I even had one psychologist who insisted I pray to get a husband, and pretty much almost lifted my arm to do a cross to pray. And
okay. And so what is the most difficult thing for you to discuss?
That I cannot condemn my parents.
I cannot condemn my parents, right? And you basically said exactly that in your write-up. You said, I cannot help defending my parents and authority figures, yet I detest them. And why is it, in one sentence, why is it I can't help defending my parents and authority figures? Why can't you help it? Why do you always do that? In one sentence, sum it up.
So I don't get utterly destroyed.
By them?
Yeah.
Okay, just so we're clear, if you were to condemn them, for example, on this show, would they know?
I don't know.
Okay, if you were to condemn them with your therapist, would your parents ever know?
No.
No. So then why are you afraid to condemn your parents for what they've done?
It's like I do, but I don't do fully. I leave a little bit.
And why? And I want to know why you don't do it fully. If you're in a therapist's office or in all this journaling that you do, why don't you do it in your journaling fully? They're not going to read your journals. Your therapist can't tell your parents what you've said. So why aren't you going through it fully? What is the fear?
That everyone else will abandon me if I
Hold on. Let me tell you something that I may not have told you last time. And I tell my clients this all the time. I don't need you to confront your living, breathing parents. So if Rob right here next to me, let's say that's your parents, I don't need you to go up to your parents and say, you did this wrong and you did that wrong and I'm so mad at you. And I don't need you to confront them in order for you to heal. I don't need you to confront your siblings. I don't need you to confront your bullies from school. I don't need you to do any of that. In order to heal, all I need you to do is just put the truth on the table for yourself. For me, in this case, I mean, you've come here, so we'll talk about it, but to put it out there for yourself. But what I hear you saying is, I don't even want to do that, whether it's in your journaling or with your therapist. And I'm saying to you, well, no one's going to know what you say to your therapist. No one's going to know what you write in your journals. So why won't you do it with your therapist or in your journals?
So I, how to say, I do it, and I do it very often. I in my inner work, I ended my parents. I've taken my younger version of myself out. I've spoken my mind out, but there's so much. And I think the fear is, if I tell people around me I don't have, like my parents were awful or something, that I'm the dirty one, kind of thing.
So you fear, okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you fear what people will think of you if you just live your truth, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. That is about 90% of my clients. That is so normal. That is very, very normal. The fear of what others are going to think. And I talk about that in Love Cup, that it's one thing to know what your truth is, but to put it out there. Now you risk, and you were told growing up, you told us just now, you were bullied in your own home, and you were told growing up that who you are doesn't matter. You were controlled. You were told how you should speak, chew, stand, dress, think, and feel. You were told everything.
I was asked, like, can you be normal? And I'd have people arguing with me, proving how, how much of an idiot I am, how stupid, how worthless,
right,
and useless.
Right. And now today, because of that, you have been so conditioned to believe when you were a child for all those years and years and years and decades, you've been conditioned to believe that you're worthless and stupid and all those things. You've been taught to believe that. And a child does believe it. If people say it, especially if parents teach it or if parents allow it, the child absolutely believes it. Of course you did. Right. But the problem is it wasn't true. No child is worthless. No child is stupid. The mere thought that a child is worthless or stupid is stupid. It's dumb. To say that a child is worthless, that doesn't even make sense. But the child believes it. So you were taught to believe a lie. Okay. And so what I want to know is, what is the one thing you are most afraid to say about your parents? What is the biggest truth about your parents that still makes you cringe?
That they didn't love me.
And what's the scariest part or the hardest part about saying they didn't love me?
There's also being afraid to hurt them because they're vulnerable.
And your whole life you've been conditioned that your life is about them. So here you are, look at you even now, that they stole your childhood. They taught a child that she's worthless, and you're still protecting them. You are still protecting the people who taught you that you're worthless.
Can I tell something?
Yeah.
I was kind of made feel like I was a burden. I should have been so happy to have had, to have been treated somewhat human, having home, having parents, not being given away, and not being aborted, because I was told, my father's first suggestion was to abort me, and my parents got married because my mother was pregnant. So they were both kind of, I think, have resentments towards one losing career and stuff like that.
The tip of my pen in the metric system, the very tip of my pen would be about, I'm guessing, about 100 angstroms long, or 10 microns-ish, something like that, 1,000 angstroms, whatever it is. When they found out that they were pregnant with you, if you're 38 years old now, let's see, you're only a few years older than my son. You were born in the late 80s. That means they would have potentially taken a pregnancy test, and they would have known. No, they found out from the doctor. How far along were they when they found out your mom was pregnant?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I knew, you see, it's Soviet times, so things were probably
Understood.
different.
But the bottom line is you were teeny, 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 tiny, and already they resented you. You weren't even a baby. You were this thing, this conglomeration of cells inside of your mother, potentially very, very small. Very, very, very small. And they already hated you because you were a burden. They were forced to get married, and they blamed this mass of cells inside your mother, this baby. They blamed the baby. And they've been blaming you ever since. And all that child ever wanted was the love of a mother and the love of a father. And instead, you got resentment and bitterness, maybe hatred. You didn't get love. You said it yourself. They didn't love me.
I mean, up till the age of 4 or 5, I felt love. There were enough in my, in my family, grandparents, great grandmother. There was like a bit of my parents. There was like enough. I was the first child in the wider relatives, and I was like a toy, exciting. Something new, something exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So first 4 years, I had once tapped into that time, and I was surprised how safe I felt and how loved I felt.
I have no doubt that's true, but the mere fact that by 5 years old, you didn't feel that way says that it had been likely building up for some time, or you became conscious of it. I mean, you didn't know any differently at 3 years old, at 4 years old. Okay, fine. But the bottom line is, you said yourself, basically, I was made to feel like I was a burden, and Dad wanted to abort me. So that builds a pretty strong argument for the fact that you were not wanted. All right. And once they sort of cemented that idea in their heads, then they went on to treat you that way. Every aspect of your existence was controlled. Speak, choose, stand, dress, think, feel, everything else. And they rendered you anxious, helpless, and ineffective. Okay. I'm actually going to come back with more questions right after this short break.
I counseled with badass counseling for about 4 months, and Sven completely turned my life around. He kicked my butt. No shit. He made me do homework too, but I was so ready for a change that I just did it all. I'm telling you, he changed my life. Thank you so much, badass counseling.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform, and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with Vida. Vida, you said at the beginning of your write-up for this time on the show, you said, I would like some help to break my own lies and defenses against my pain, against my grief, and against my anger towards those deserving it. Then later you said, I can't help defending my parents. What percent are your parents involved or active or present in your life? What percent?
5%.
5%. Okay. And so then
maybe in the outside, in my head, it's probably more.
Probably, yes, for sure. And so then let me ask you, what is your fear then in expressing your anger, getting out your anger towards your parents? And why are you still protecting your parents? What is the fear? If I let out all that I truly feel, and I don't need you to confront them, I just need you to let out what is really in you. And I'm wondering, what is the fear that if I let out what's really in me, what do you fear happening?
I wish I knew exactly. I'll tell you.
No. You do. Yeah. I want you to take a guess at what it might be. I don't even care if you're completely wrong. That's okay if you're wrong. I want you to put it in one sentence. What are you afraid of? That if you said, I want to break my own lies and defenses against my pain and grief and my anger towards those deserving it. You have lies and defenses, and I want to know what you are afraid of see, when we put up defenses, when a city in Europe back in medieval times put up those giant walls and built a moat, it was a defense. What's the fear? Well, somebody coming with an army and taking all of our, women and our money and whatever else, okay? And so what I'm wondering is, what are your defenses afraid of? What are you afraid of? In one sentence, what are you most afraid of in telling the truth about your parents?
that I caused some of it, and I have to take responsibility for some of it.
That I caused some of it, that it's your fault.
Yeah.
I see. And just for the record, we're talking about your childhood, right?
That's a bit later on, like pre-teenage, teenage years.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Your
Yeah.
Okay. But they were already mistreating you by the time you're 5, right?
They had a very bad divorce.
No,
That flipped everything.
wait. They had a bad divorce. Is you excusing their behavior? I just asked if they were mistreating you.
No, not that the child me had any complaints about them till that point. Like I remember complaining to my grandmothers, but like in a child way, like, oh, they didn't give me this and they didn't buy me that.
When did you feel, looking back, when did you feel unloved? What's the earliest you felt either unloved or felt self-loathing?
About the age of 5.
5. Right. That's where I'm going here. At the age of 5, your parents were either causing you to not love yourself or they were not giving you love. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then back to the question, why are you afraid to put all your anger on the table about that? And you said that I caused some of it. So you believe that at 5 years old, you caused them to start not loving yourself, to cause you to start loathing yourself, to cause you to basically want to die. You had to make a reason to stay alive. So you think that 5-year-old, that 7-year-old, that 9-year-old did something to cause that? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Okay, let me say, I think I feel guilt because I stopped loving them at that age.
Okay, and so just so I'm clear, is it your guilt that you don't want to look at and touch and get out of you, or is it your anger at them that you don't want to get out of you? Which is scarier for you?
Feeling like I owe them, but I don't know how much and how to return, or like.
And what do you owe them for?
For not loving and appreciating them, and gratefulness, not being grateful.
If I owe someone, it's because they loaned me $20. So I owe them $20. I'm asking you what they gave you that you owe them for.
Clothes, food, education.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, clothes and food and a roof over your head, you owe them. They made a decision to have a child. Does the child owe the parent? More importantly, would they have had food on the table and a roof over their head if you hadn't been born?
They would have.
Yes, they would have. So they didn't do that for you. They just bought a little extra for you. So you saying you owe them, listen, okay, so you feel guilt. What do you feel most guilty for?
For not loving them.
And when did you stop loving them?
I think I was 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years old. All right. And do you believe it is a child? You're in healthcare, right?
I was.
And what are you in now?
Coaching.
Coaching. Okay, great. So you, in your lifetime, if you've been in healthcare and you are now in coaching, you have had plenty of interaction with children, right?
I did.
Yes. And you are around children and so forth. What would it take for a child to not love their parent? Is that normal?
I don't know. I have worked with some children from difficult backgrounds, and they didn't seem awfully happy.
Wait.
Exactly.
Okay, from difficult backgrounds. So you put a caveat on there. You gave a qualifier, a disclaimer. You said, in these cases where the child had a difficult background, then there was some, discontent with or lack of love for the parent, which implies, by saying that, you're saying, but with people in a sort of normal household, a normal childhood, No.
My relatives, they love their parents. My
There you go.
classmates, I think they mostly love their
There we
parents.
go. Okay, so it is normal for children to love their parents.
Yeah.
So if a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old doesn't love their parents, it has to be one of two things. Either something's fucked up about that child, the child is bad, or, as you yourself said, people who came from difficult childhood. There's something about the childhood, there's something about the parents that have caused a 5-year-old. I spend a lot of time around kids in my life. I love kids. I love little babies and their cute cheeks, and I love children and so forth. I love kids. I do. And a child's natural state is love. A child's natural state is loving. It's to give love. And they can be darn selfish and they can be cranky and all those other things, but they are naturally loving creatures. It's very easy for a child to love. So for a child to stop loving, that would require something significant from the other person. And the fact that you were experiencing that significant of pain at 5 years old doesn't build a very good argument for your parents. What?
Let me tell you something. I think I was 14 years old when I thought maybe love is something more than just lust and manipulation. I felt so little. I felt anger and I felt like desire, but I felt so little emotions. And at some point there was, an article in the press saying that someone went abroad, studied, came back and killed the entire family. And my mom was like, "Oh, could it have been you?" And I was like, "I know his state of mind." Because I was that detached from my feelings and I was so far away from love. I worked so hard to kind of get emotions to cut down the glass walls between me and the world around.
Right. And so your point in bringing up that you were 14 and you realize, wow, maybe love is more than lust and manipulation.
Maybe there is something to love that actually feels good and is nice, not just the songs about airy fairy things.
That's right.
Because I wasn't feeling it to my family, maybe to the nature.
Right. And that is the point. That in a normal home with good parents, you would definitely feel it and you would know it. And they would be pouring love into your love cup. And a child naturally pours love out to everyone. Okay, so the fact that you weren't wanting to pour it to your parents says that they had earned it. They had earned the right to not get your love. And so you feeling guilt over that, I can understand why you feel guilt. I can, but it is not based in reality. The reality is that child had every right to not love her parents. Let me ask you this question. Do you hate your parents for what they did to you? Or let me ask this question instead. Have you ever hated your parents for what they did to you?
Yeah, I did.
And do you hate them presently?
At times when something comes up.
Okay, so generally speaking, at this phase of your life, what percent overall do you hate your parents?
Maybe 20.
Okay, and at what age did you hate your parents most?
Probably between the two podcasts that I've taken part in,
So 36 to 38, you hated them most. And what percent did you hate them in there?
Up to 100.
Okay. And what's the earliest you recall ever hating your parents?
Very interesting. I have, hate exactly. Yeah, hate was probably about 5, 6. I'm pretty sure I had that.
And what percent do you think you hated them then?
Probably 70.
70%.
I think so. I don't know exactly, but that's my
No, of course
guess.
you don't know exactly. That's fine. I just wanted a approximate figure. 70%. A parent would have had to have incurred a lot of pain, inflicted a lot of pain on you.
Yeah.
for a child to hate their parents 70%. And what I'm offering is the possibility that the real problem here is that you haven't gotten it out of you. I don't need you to ever confront them in real life.
Sure.
But that rage that has been coming out, but there's still something that is not coming out. And let me come at it from this way. Have you ever in your life hated yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was pretty much self-hate driven.
And do you hate yourself presently?
I've been very critical of myself recently, I noticed.
Would you characterize it as self-hatred?
Mild, maybe mild or hidden.
And what is the age when you hated yourself most?
5 to 35. I felt like I was an abomination. Well, maybe 5 to 30.
5 to 30. And what percent for those 25 years, what percent did you hate yourself?
70 to 90, I suppose.
70 to 90%. Okay. And
I had good days, I had good weeks, but the hate would come back.
Gotcha. And so just so I'm clear, by age 5, you were taught to hate yourself. A child does not come out of the womb saying, fuck, I hate myself. I suck. I'm disgusting. Children don't come out of the womb that way. So you were taught. And the fact that you said 5 years old and you didn't say 4 years old, and you told us earlier you have memories from when you were 4 and you were 3. So that says you have memories, and before age 5, you didn't have self-hate. So you knew. So this was a new thing. So you were taught something new.
I experienced that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you experienced it. Why would a child hate themselves? If they are getting love from the parent, a child isn't going to hate themselves. Certainly not for 25 years. Maybe in the moment.
No,
I'm a bad boy. I stole a cookie or something. I did a bad thing. Maybe for a moment, but for a month, a week, a month, a year, 25 years, no fucking way. No fucking way. You were taught to hate yourself, and now you feel guilt, feeling angry towards people who taught a 5-year-old child to hate herself.
You see, in a way, it was more I was left to my own devices to deal with my loss, and I drifted there. No one actively taught me. It was more like, how to say, neglect rather than active
And neglect
teaching.
is a form of abuse. And see, it's sort of the bastard stepchild of abuse, because people think, well, nobody hit me. But, it's like, how is it bad? I was just neglected. Because what happens when a child is left to their own devices is a vacuum is created. I don't know what the word is in Lithuanian, but a giant empty space is left inside that child. A space that would normally be met with affection and praise and kindness and warmth and loving words and loving actions and time together. All those things would fill that space in a good childhood. But there was none of that. And so the child's brain fills that space. The child knows that something is missing. They sense it. They feel it. They feel alone.
Yeah.
And they feel empty. And so the child's brain fills it with, and remember, a child is born believing mom and dad are good, mom and dad love me, or whoever raised me is good and they love me. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if I'm not getting that love, especially when you had been getting it before, if I'm not getting that love, something must be wrong with me. I'm the problem. Mom and dad aren't the problem. Mom and dad are good. Mom and dad love me. I must be the problem. Well, it's total bullshit. How could a fucking 5-year-old be the fucking problem? No. Mom and dad were so caught up in their own shit, in their own worlds, that they weren't doing their fucking job to love a child. And they already resented you. We know that from before you were born. Right. So the sin, the crime, is that they, by their inaction, by their not taking action, They taught a child to hate herself. They taught you to hate yourself, and you feel guilty being angry at them. You feel guilty hating them, but hate is just one more emotion.
Mm.
And you don't want to let yourself feel it. It's just an emotion. If we let it up and we allow ourselves to feel it and we give it a point of egress, a point of exit, if we journal about it, if we talk about it, we allow that feeling to leave. It's just like sadness. It's just like disappointment or excitement. It comes, it has a duration, it lasts for a certain amount of time, and then it passes if we allow it. But you've been stuffing it down because you feel bad. You feel bad for allowing yourself to hate and be angry at people who taught a child to hate herself for 25 years.
I think there's also shame. There's that, that like I felt ashamed that my parents didn't love me. Something was wrong with me. And
that's exactly right.
Each time someone bullied.
Something must be wrong with me. I'm the problem. I'm at fault. Of course I'm ashamed. Something's wrong with me. My own parents don't even love me. I must be the problem. Right? And it's total bullshit. It's total garbage, rubbish. That a child could be at fault? It wasn't your fault. You were a sweet, beautiful, smart, creative, playful little girl. You're ornery if you didn't get a nap. You're normal. You were a wonderful little girl who was taught to hate herself. And that's a whole lot of my clients. You are not alone there. Here's the question. What do you still want from mom and dad?
Well, what I feel like is for them to take accountability for their whole life, the mess. And, I don't feel like I somehow have to untangle things.
Accountability. And if they took accountability for their whole life and all they did to you, then what? What changes inside of you or outside of you? What changes if you get that accountability?
I can feel free. That's the notion I get.
And if you felt free, then what changes inside of you or around you? Then what? You feel free. Finally, they take accountability. You finally feel free. Then what?
Okay, my fear is that nothing changes, and
you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question. Answer the question. If you got that accountability and if you felt free, if you truly felt free, then what? Then what would change in here, or what would you change out here?
I could speak and be without thinking, like, how will it come across? Like, will it upset my parents? Will it upset someone else? Will it make me seem this way or that way?
And if you could speak freely and be freely without the thinking and fearing, will it upset mom and dad? And will it upset others? If you could be free of that, then what? Then what would you feel in here, or what would change out here?
Then I could do what matters to me, I suppose. And I could like put myself fully somewhere without hiding bits and showing certain behaviors.
So you could do what matters to you and no longer hide. And if you could finally do what matters to you and stop hiding parts of you, then what changes in here? What would that feel like in here? Or what would change out here? If you could finally do what matters to you and stop hiding bits of you, what would change in here? What would it feel like in here?
Lightness. It would feel light.
Sure.
And joyful.
Lightness and
silly.
Joyful and silly. Exactly.
And also very sharp, I think.
And very sharp, for sure. You would have great clarity. That's right. Okay. So your desire, the real desire at the root of your soul, is not for mom and dad's accountability. No. What you really desire is to feel light and joyful and sharp and silly. But you believe that the only way you can get to that is mom and dad have to give me accountability for what they've done. Accountability for their lives. And until they get that, I can't be free. I can't do what matters to me and stop hiding bits of me. I can't speak and be without thinking about how it will upset them and how it'll upset others. Until I get that accountability from them, I can't be free. In other words, they fucking own you. It doesn't matter that you've cut them out of your life 95% and they're only in 5%. They fucking own you because you're terrified to be who you are, because you think, I can't be free. I can't speak and be who I want. I can't do what matters to me. I have to keep hiding parts of me. I can't be light and joyful and silly and sharp, because they've not taken accountability. And just out of curiosity, what are you feeling right now? Give me a feeling word.
Heavy, burdened.
And what's the heaviest part?
That if they took accountability, they would uplift my shame and guilt as well.
Right. They're never going to do it. You're 38 years old. They are never going to
Sure.
do it. Never. The fact that they haven't done it yet for 38 years. Let me ask you this question. If you were dating a man and 9 months into the relationship, you were driving your car to the grocery store, and it occurred to you, and you're all by yourself, and it occurred to you, wow, he is really a good man, and he is very good to me. And he admits when he makes a mistake, and he is very gentle with me. Might you begin to believe that he actually loves you after 9 months of his consistently acting those ways? Might you begin to believe he loves you?
Yeah.
And let's say it's now 3 years into the relationship, and he is just this steady, calm, and consistent presence of love in your life. And he admits his mistakes, and he apologizes, and he's open to when you say, hey, you hurt me. And he's also not afraid to tell you, hey, you hurt me. And you know, if he were consistently doing this over 3 years, would you begin to really believe that he loves you?
Yeah.
And now let's fast forward one more time to 5 years. This man is doing it consistently. Like, he just shows up and he admits his mistakes and he owns it and he apologizes and he follows through on his commitments and so forth. Would you believe that he truly loves you?
I would.
So with a 5-year pattern of behavior, you would believe that this man loves you, right? You have a 38-year pattern of behavior that says your parents don't love you, don't give a shit about accountability, but you don't believe it.
I do believe it. I do.
No, you don't. You still keep hoping for their accountability. You still want accountability. And your entire life, you being free, you speaking and being who you really are, you doing what matters to you, you feeling light and joyful and silly and sharp, that's all being kept in because they still haven't given you that thing that you think you need. You're not being yourself because you still believe you need this, and they're never going to give it. They are never going to give it to you. And you are still worried about what they'll think. And you are still wanting something from them. And you're still afraid to let out your real feelings towards them. You still feel bad about them. You have a 38-year pattern of behavior of two people not taking any accountability. This guy did it for 5 years, and you absolutely believed he loved you. They're not doing it for 38 years, and you still, well...
You see, that's a tricky bit. My mom did support me financially once I grew up, and she helped me move recently. And I got into contact with her for that, and I feel very guilty again for receiving it and not giving in exchange my kind of attention and, connection.
Right. And why didn't you give your connection and attention and so forth? Why didn't you do that?
I did give that, but then she behaved the same way as I told her numerous times.
Right.
That,
And what is the reason that you have cut them out of your life 95%? What is the reason?
Because of how they behave.
Exactly. So you are acknowledging that they have mistreated you. You are acknowledging that they did not show love to their daughter. To use your words, they didn't love you. And you haven't loved them since you were 5. Is that true? Is it true that you have not loved them since you were 5 or 6 years old? You said it earlier, and I just want to confirm. Is that true?
I tried to change it very hard since
You didn't answer the
years.
question. Is it true? You said it earlier. Since 5 or 6 years old, I have not been loving them. That's what you felt guilt for. And you also said they didn't love me. So is it true that you have not loved them since you were 5 or 6 years old, for the most part?
I hated them till the age of about 13. And then when I tried to evoke love in myself, I tried to evoke love to them. And I did get some quite warm feeling and a lot of understanding, but not the love I would have to a parent.
Is it true that you have not loved them for the most part since you were 5 or 6 years old?
True.
Okay, right. And you are still wanting them to take accountability because then you can be free. And what would you be free of? In one sentence or less, what would you be free of?
Feeling dirty, feeling shame.
Right. And what is the ones in one sentence that you are most ashamed of about yourself?
For being unlovable.
I see. Unlovable. And have you been unlovable since you were about 5 years old?
I felt different way at different times.
Okay. When did the unlovable start?
I think at about 5 or 6.
Right. Okay. Now, if we were to take that voice out of you, because a child isn't born believing they are unlovable. Actually, you know what? Let's take that voice, that belief that you are unlovable. Are you the only child in the history of humanity that was naturally unlovable? Or are there other children at the age of 5 that are naturally, that just who they are, is intrinsically unlovable? Are you the only one, or are there others?
Not unlovable to me.
You said that you are unlovable and that you have believed that you are unlovable since you were 5 years old. And so you believe that child, you look back at that 5-year-old and you think that was a disgusting piece of shit child that was unlovable. And I'm just asking, were you the only one, or are there others? At 38 years old,
I wouldn't see any. I haven't seen a child that was unlovable.
But you were. Do you believe now, presently, today, right now, do you believe that your 5-year-old self was unlovable?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that your 9-year-old self, that child, 9 years old, was just naturally unlovable?
No.
Do you believe that 11-year-old child was naturally unlovable? Just a piece of shit. She was just trash. She was garbage.
No.
Oh.
Far from it.
Okay. Let's move forward. That 15-year-old girl. Now you're 38 and you know how young 15 is. 15 is like basically a child. Do you believe that little 15-year-old girl was just naturally disgusting? She was completely unloved. No. Oh, okay. Not at 15.
No.
All right. So now we've got a pattern going here. Was that 21-year-old girl who was going to uni, or as we call it here, going to college, that 21-year-old girl, was she just naturally filthy and dirty and disgusting? Just naturally. Who she was she rotten, like an apple is rotten to the core? Was she rotten?
No.
Oh. Well, we have a little bit of a problem starting here now. Okay, then I'm going to ask, 28. Was that 28-year-old young woman rotten to the core, just naturally a piece of shit?
No.
When did you become unlovable? I'm curious. Was that 34-year-old woman just fucking dog shit, like dog poop, like runny, nasty, stinky dog poop? Was she just to her core a rotten piece of fruit that you wanted to throw out and step on?
No.
Oh, but you told me you're unlovable. You told me that child was unlovable before. The child believed it. Now you're saying the child wasn't unlovable, yet she believed it. Why would a child believe that they are unlovable?
Because the entire world seemed to be telling it.
Exactly.
At the time.
Exactly. The entire world. And who were the two most powerful people in your life, most of your life?
My mother and my grandmother.
Sure. Was your grandmother telling you that you were unlovable?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Grandma. Bitch. And so, was that child unlovable?
No.
Nope. She wasn't at 5, at 9, 11, at 15, at 21, at 28, or at 34. You are not unlovable. It was a lie. It's been a lie the whole time. And those motherfuckers taught you that it's true, and it's bullshit. One more question on that same thread. What % do you fear your parents still?
I fear hurting them, I suppose, and that would be probably 70% off the top of my head.
And what is the biggest thing you could do to hurt them?
To tell that they've been useless.
You don't ever have to. You don't ever have to tell it to them. You just.
I am telling them by my behavior.
Yeah.
I'm telling them.
Yeah, and what's the truth? Are they useless to you? What is your truth? Just tell your fucking truth for once.
I can't find it in me to do anything with them.
Then why not just be you? You are continuing to choose them over you. See, now it's you telling that 10-year-old girl that she's worthless. Now it's you telling that 20-year-old and that 30-year-old girl that she's worthless. Now you're not standing up for her. You're still protecting the oppressor. You're still protecting the neglectors and the abusers. You're still protecting them. So now it's you telling your little self that she's a piece of dog shit. Now it's you. It's not them anymore. Yeah. They're never going to give you the accountability that you want. You have to assume that. And so at some point, you have to decide, do I just want to be free and be me? And at some point, you have to start to act on it. And the more you give yourself permission to be you, two things are going to happen. You're going to start to lose people. You've already seen that happen.
Very much so.
And it's going to happen more. That's right. And the other thing that's going to happen is you are going to start to effortlessly attract people who love who you're becoming, who will even say to you, if you went back to being that old person that you say you used to be, I wouldn't be interested. You're so afraid of being yourself because you've been taught that yourself was bad. But you just told me she wasn't unlovable. That little girl was good. That 11-year-old was good. The 21-year-old was good. The 34-year-old was good. The 38-year-old is good. The only one that doesn't believe it or is afraid to act on it is you. And at some point, you have to live your life. There's just no question about it. And people will be drawn to you. Furthermore, you will become much more powerful as a coach when you have taken that final step. See, you don't know how to coach someone to take that final step. It's just words. You haven't done it yourself. So you can bring someone right up to that point, but you don't know how to coach them past that point because you haven't done it. You will become an extraordinarily powerful coach. You will change far more lives than you realize when you have the courage to take the leap off the cliff, metaphorically speaking.
I will.
When you have the courage to do the thing you are most afraid to do, and that is just be you. And the truth is, the people who really love you will love that you're being you, will love who you are becoming, will love that you have the courage to even become and express your real self. You don't owe your parents anything. You can keep pretending like you do, but if I were to line up 100 people right now and play this story for them that we've just talked about, not a one of them would say that you owe anything to two parents and a grandmother who taught you to hate yourself.
Unless they were Lithuanian.
Fine. That's their problem. You are robbing the world of your originality. You are robbing me. I need original people, creative people, people who have the courage to become something real. I need that. That inspires me. I see you when you check in on my show or when you make a comment. I see that. And to know that you're doing your work is courageous, and that inspires me. All right? You're not doing the world any favors. Let me tell you something. When I met my girlfriend, I met her online. I was living on the west coast of the United States, and she was on the east coast, and I had not really found anyone. I'd had 2 serious relationships earlier in my life, 2 big ones. And I realized I could move my business to the East Coast if I wanted to. And so I expanded my search to the whole United States. And my title of my name on that dating website was Odd Duck, which in English means kind of a weirdo, a weird person, an unusual person.
Sure.
And the person that I ended up with, she said, I get bored by normal people. I get bored by normal men. She said, I just wanted someone who could hold my attention. And boy, did I get it with you, Sven. She used this phrase, I don't have a box in my head in which to fit you. You don't fit into any boxes, Sven. You are unusual. And so I hold her attention. She's the same. She holds my attention because she's just fucking weird. And she's loud and she's obnoxious, but she's also very tender and soft. And she built a very successful company. But if you ever met her, you'd think, oh, she teaches yoga and she has 9 cats. She doesn't teach yoga and she doesn't have 9 cats. But she's a very gentle person, but she's a ferocious person. And I don't know, she just holds my attention. But you are robbing the world. You are robbing yourself. You are robbing your future partner or partners by wasting time being this lesser version of you that isn't even you. Your parents are winning every single day. They're not even trying. They are winning because you aren't being you. They keep winning.
I am reclaiming. I
know you
my life.
are, but you wouldn't have come on this motherfucking show unless you had been holding it back. And you even said yourself, I would be free. You're not free right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't want to be free. You would speak and be without thinking it will upset mom and dad and others. So that means you presently are afraid to upset mom and dad and others, and you're afraid to speak and be who you really are. And you would be light, which means you're not light right now. You would do what matters to you, which means you're not doing what matters to you right now. All of these things you would do. They're not going to give it to you.
Well,
you're fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah.
Because they're never going to give it to you.
No, I'm fine. I'm
you're not
reclaim
fine.
it.
Come on now, Vida. You would not have come on the show if you were fine.
I'm fine because I'm going to do it.
You're goddamn right you're going to do it. Quit wasting your life. You've got this wonderful burning torch of light and goodness and energy, and you're holding it from the world, and the world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for you, Vida. I'm waiting for you, and God damn it, you better do it. All right? And
I will.
You need to change Lithuania. Don't wait for Lithuania to give you permission to change.
Let me tell you something.
You tell me something.
Let me tell you.
All right, you tell me, and then we're going to end the show. Go ahead.
Before the start of the show, I was really anxious coming up to the show, and I got an email from a person I haven't met for 15 years.
Uh-huh.
And when I volunteered, I was mistreated, and I raised concerns, and I was really upset. I volunteered abroad for a year, and someone wrote an email. Could you give the contact of this volunteer to me? Because her going through those things changed my life. He was my mentor. And because of her, I saw what's happening, and I left the program. And it just showed that what I do in my own silly way, trying to shake up some systems that are not working and seems insane sometimes and just like stupid, does have an impact. And it kind of, I cried and it settled me.
So the email taught you what? In one sentence, that email taught you what?
That what I do out of my silliness and stubbornness of my heart does have an impact.
You're exactly right. And you're going to see that more and more, but it takes you having the courage to do it. And this is the final step. This is the final step, Vida. We can do all the work on the insides, and we can do all the journaling and the heavy lifting and the shadow work, and we can do the writing of letters and getting out all the feelings. But then the final step is we have to act on it. And the acting on it is me saying to the universe, it's me saying to my own self, it's me saying to my 5-year-old self, God damn it, I matter. And I'm going to act on it. Enough thinking, enough talking, I'm going to act on it. I matter. And that is a proclamation of self-worth. That action is a proclamation of your self-worth. Every little action is you saying, I matter. Mom and dad were wrong. Mom and dad can go fuck themselves. I matter. Vida, I love having you on the show. This was great. Thank you. This was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's life-changing.
No, the pleasure is completely ours. Rob, some final thoughts.
You're an odd duck.
I am an odd duck.
No, it occurs to me that when the child gets the message explicitly or implicitly that they're a burden, I have some knowledge of this personally, but when you get that impression that you are a burden, it doesn't matter how much affection, even how much love you get, it just seems hollow. It seems fake. And so naturally, you carry that feeling of being somehow off, somehow unlovable, until you really face it and get it the fuck out.
Well, and that's a really good point. The notion that the bad part always sticks. It's like if you go for your end of the year review at your job, and the boss says, Rob, I love having you on the job. You are such a team player and you're always bringing in new business. And I've told you this before, Rob, I love that you're on my team. There's one thing we need to fix though, Rob, and that's you need to follow through on your contracts. We are losing sales. They're going out the door because you're not giving the follow through. We need to work on that. But again, Rob, I want to tell you, I love having you on the team. You're a great team player and you bring in so much business. It's awesome. What are you going to go home to Hanukkah thinking about?
I'm a loser.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You know, you're going to think about the one bad part. And this is to your point. Right. You can get all the good stuff in the world, but if that child is being taught that they're a burden, or if that child is being taught that they're unlovable, it doesn't matter whatever good they're getting, because that one bad thing is going to stick in a child, and we see it because we do it even as adults. Well, folks, tuning in from Kalamazoo to Kyoto, it has been great having you here. It has been great bringing back a past guest on the show and seeing new pieces of it. And this one, right on the cusp, she's done all of the work. And now she's ready to sort of be the butterfly and finally take those final steps out of the cocoon and start to fly. And I believe that Vida is a butterfly. And part of the reason that the butterfly has to kick and kick and kick and force its own way out of that cocoon is because that's how those wings get stronger, so that it can fly and be that beautiful, majestic creature that she is. And that Vida has this exciting, new, beautiful, majestic life ahead. And I know we're all cheering for her. So on behalf of my team here, KC in the booth, Rob the Rocket, the Brainiac at the board, have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.